Hi, I'm Frank Lavario. I'm the founder of the Lavario programs, the self-help programs against addictions. And here in these videos, I give some advice on what you could do to break your addiction, to overcome your addiction. And today I want to talk about the inner child. It's an extremely important concept, and how you should love your inner child. And I put together some stuff from the Lavario program and I read it out to you. So let me start. Many studies of addicts demonstrate that the majority of sufferers had a very difficult childhood or a difficult adolescence. Typical problems include mobbing at school, sexual or physical abuse, domestic violence, emotional humiliation, bullying, or verbal abuse at home, or in school, like "you're useless, loser, I wish you have never been born," and derision also. Maybe you're aware of some of the emotional violence that you were exposed to when you were younger. This will make it easier to apply what I'm going to present to you now. Later in the program, this is from the program now. Later in the program, we will deal with all your difficult youth experience in much more detail, and we'll provide you with strategies on how to process your traumatic experiences. Okay, for the video, we'll not go into this one now. So do not feel ashamed because it was not your fault. A part of you is still a child. A part of you was put down, mobbed, and hurt to the point that part of your soul withdrew and did not grow up anymore. The 5, 8, or 12-year-old child in you subconsciously developed a strategy back then. That strategy went something like this: I need to close everything down. I will not let anybody approach me anymore. I am so bad that I don't deserve anything better. Fortunately, no, let me skip that because that's related to the program. So you close your eyes. Let's start the exercise. You close your eyes and make yourself feel comfortable, and then you travel back with your thoughts into the past. Now, and you might say, no, but that was terrible. I don't want to go back to my past. I don't want to have anything to do with that anymore. Yes, that is where you need to go back to, but this time in a different way than when you usually thought about your childhood. Travel back in a way that will lead you to a good place in your life. Travel back to when you were 5, 7, or 11 years old. It doesn't matter, but it should be a moment in which you did not feel good, a moment of suffering. Maybe you can immediately think of such a moment. Maybe you need some help. You could start by remembering the music of that time, your favorite song when you were 10 years old, for example. Remembering what your school looked like, what your teachers looked like, your parents' house, the living room, the kitchen, or your own room. What matters is that at a certain point, you get to a situation in which you suffered. Maybe in the beginning you cannot recall the bad moments because the brain might have stored them somewhere in your subconscious. That is how the brain works, but this is not so important at the moment. It is important that you can remember and experience how you were back then. See and experience from your memory how afraid you were in the situation back then. What do you see and feel? Is there fear or despair or even tears, being beaten up, mourning? Try to see yourself as a little child, as realistically as possible. And now imagine that you could take this little child into your arms, feel it crying, that you could comfort it, that you could instill some confidence back into it, and also that you tell it how right it is to feel pain, despair, and fear. Understand the little child inside you. Tell it that what is happening is not fair, that it's not its fault, but that it is the parents, the schoolmates, the brother, or whoever it was that's to blame. Take that little child into your arms and love it. Tell it that it is not to blame, that it is not a bad person, and that it is worth something. Cry with the child if you are able to. Of course, this exercise is easier to do when you are at home. However, when you sit in your car, you could pull over 10 minutes. When you are in the office, in a restaurant, in a shopping mall, you could go to the bathroom, and do the exercise there. Especially in moments of cravings, if that happens in a restaurant or in the office. Maybe you feel disturbed by the noise when you are not alone. You could always, from now on, have always 2 earplugs with you, that you can immediately get into silence when you need it. And these earplugs are easy to have in your wallet, for example, or in your purse. This exercise appeals to deeply rooted feelings in you, feelings that are much stronger than the craving that you feel when it starts, right? In the beginning of craving. One of the reasons for your addiction is that you do not love yourself. At least that's true for the overwhelming majority of you, or even hate yourself from deep within. And I will deal with that much more in depth. Maybe in another video in the program. It's a huge part of the program, dealing with your self-conception and your self-hatred. So, for the time being, or let me read out something to you, just a second, because we received a letter from a nymphomatic, sex addict woman. And she was writing about this exercise, actually. Use this exercise. This is the best, strongest, and most effective one of all. It was great, especially during the 2nd to 4th week, when there was so much about, it's 8 weeks, the program, the Lavario program is 8 weeks. So it was great, especially during the 2nd to 4th week, when there was so much about subconscious childhood and traumatic experiences. In the very beginning, I found it difficult and something inside me resisted. But then one day it clicked. Then, before taking another person home and fuck him, that's what she wrote, I managed more and more often to imagine that the little girl that I once was doesn't deserve this. I never had a lot of self-respect, but one thing I somehow knew deep inside. I once was an innocent little girl, and that part of me is still alive somewhere inside. So I thought that fits perfectly into this video. But now let me get back to the original one here. So for the time being, let us state that loving your inner child has many positive effects. Loving the small child that you once were is usually easier than loving yourself for what you are now. You might only see in yourself the addicted person that is now not lovable, that does everything wrong, that has nothing but his or her greediness. A small child, however, it is so innocent, you just have to love it. It is innocent, and that little child was you. You hug yourself, in your imagination, you hug yourself, and that is a giant step. Making friendship with yourself, even if it is only a part of you, a part that you have been a long time ago before you turned into an addict. You comfort the little child, you do something good, whereas usually you spend your day constantly thinking about your drug, whatever that is, and then mistakenly think that you are not worth anything. All this might sound a little bit theoretical, but try it out. As this woman wrote to us as well, one day it will make click, as she put it. Try it out. The better you visualize the past and relive certain situations, the more impressive the results can be. In the program, let me just read it, but it relates to the program, which you probably don't have at the moment. We will teach you autogenic training, progressive muscle relaxation, autosuggestion, and meditation as methods that will help you relax and go on these mind journeys. There will be very detailed examples and texts how to imagine your healing, how you travel back to your childhood, and how to deal with those people that have hurt you in your life. You don't have these available now, But anyway, you can start trying, moving into that direction at least. Yeah, do the exercise with less tools than if you had the full program. Okay, but how should I manage to concentrate on childhood experiences in a situation in which I suffer from cravings? The typical question. It's a good question. This is the most difficult part of this tool, of this method. Loving your inner child is an important building block in the healing process of the Lavario method. It is to be practiced in quiet moments when you are relaxed and when you can take all the time you need to do the exercise. Nonetheless, it can also work in moments when you are under pressure, and now you will learn how. Firstly, it requires preparation. In good times, without cravings, like now, you need to write down 2 or 3 situations to which you want to travel back the next time you experience suffering. So prepare for those moments. Don't think that in those moments of craving you will have enough, silence, quietness inside you to start thinking about how you could do the exercise. No, prepare for it now. You call this part an emergency kit, for situations of emergency when craving gets too strong. And in the program you have you have tons of these tools for an emergency kit, right? But use this one now as you watch the video. Write down these situations on a sheet of paper, and that sheet of paper you will always have with you, in your wallet, in your purse. You might also want to take note of a few key words that describe the incidents from back then. When you have a craving, it will be easier for you to direct your thoughts away from your drug to your inner child, quickly and effectively, especially if you prepared already a few words on those situations that you want to travel to. Secondly, you could use an elastic like this one, I prepared it, that you have around your wrist. And when the craving gets unbearably strong, you go like this. It hurts, but this drives away the thoughts from your brain. Yeah, do it even stronger if you like. I'm not gonna. Okay. Yeah, it's even red now. So, but do this because it chases away the thoughts in your brain. At least for the first 5-10 times, right? If you use it together with the rest I'm saying. And then later, anyway, if you work on the program, you will have other tools that you can apply, and you will anyway get out of your addiction. But in the beginning, such an elastic is very helpful. And thirdly, in a situation of craving, before you use the tip of the inner child, you can facilitate your mind traveling by always having something with you that reminds you of your childhood. It could be a candy that you loved when you were a child, a family photo that you enjoy, or a stamp if you collected stamps, or whatever you collected. Your wallet again can serve as a place where you keep these nostalgic objects, and they then help you to get quicker into those childhood times, and also more quickly away from your current thoughts on your drug. Loving your inner child might be the most difficult tip, but probably is also the one that you should put most effort in, and that you should prepare particularly well, as the reward can be beautiful. It's a very strong tip. As an addict, you sometimes simply look for love, and the craving usually arises when the emptiness inside is unbearable, or when you consciously or subconsciously feel unloved or rejected. Exposure to stress has a similar effect. If you can manage in moments like this to give the love that you seek, at least to your inner child, it can be an incredibly powerful way to push away the craving in that moment. And I stop here. There's so much more to say about it. Again, if you want, order the program and read it there. But if not, just try it. Start somewhere and watch the video again and write down your thoughts. And I really hope that it can give you that you make some progress in your fight against your addiction. Good luck, and maybe see you in another video. Bye bye.